Okay, hello guys, welcome to another tutorial by Nocode Africa, right? In this tutorial, we're going to learn more about the toolkits that is required to start building mobile and web applications without writing codes using FlutterFlow, right? So I don't know if you guys can hear me. But if you can hear me, please, I can see Smart Mind. Akada Virtual Hall. Okay, so basically, I'm just calling you based on the name that you gave to yourself, to your YouTube account, kind of, right? So, please, if you're here and you can hear me very well, just let me know that I am audible. Just tell me, yes, I can hear you. I just want to be sure. I have confirmed from my end that I can be heard, but I need to still know that I can be heard, right? So, please, if at all you can hear me, just let me know. And meanwhile, just say hi too, of course. Okay, great. Akada Virtual Lab, thank you very much. Great. Smart Mind, good to have you here. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do greetings like I used to do, right? So, Olusegun, good to have you here. Thank you very much. Israel Adelani, good to have you here. Linux, good to have you here as well. Ifel Lua, good to have you here. Thank you for responding. Johnny, good to have you here. Thank you. Audio is good. Oni, good to have you here. Quadri, good to have you here. All right. And there is Ben, Stringman, Israel. Good to have you here, guys. Like, thank you very much for, letting me know that you can hear me. Kahinde, welcome. Okay, great. So I will go straight to the point, but let's just hold on for the next 2 minutes just to create more room for other people to join us. Meanwhile, let me use this time to also share it to other communities so that other people can also join immediately. Okay, so just 2 minutes, guys. I'm trying to drop the messages on the other communities. Okay. Uh, okay. All right. So great. So I think we have more people that have joined. Taiwo, good to have you here. Edwin Morales, good to have you here. I don't know why the photo thumbnails are not showing. Aloha Tosin, good to have you here. Okay, great. Rita, good to have you here. Okay, someone is saying no volume. Well, other people are saying they can hear me very well. Omolola, please try and check to confirm if it's not due to your own device or something. Okay, Vast Agency, good to have you here. Elimi, welcome. Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce this, but welcome. Yeah. Okay, great. All right, so we're going to start right away. Nana, welcome. Okay, great. So today we're going to talk about something that I decided to call toolkit, right? So when trying to learn how to build, okay, let's start from this. Like when you're trying to learn something, maybe a new skill, right? You need to have some sort of toolkit, right? More like the necessary materials you need to use to get better or to even start learning. And that's what I want to provide you today. And with this particular toolkit, right, you're going to get some form of head start. I know you have already gone through introduction, right? So we did some poll on the community on WhatsApp, and some person said they needed like a live class like this apart from just the recording. So I was like, okay, sure, we can have a live class. And so that's why we're having a live class right now. And what we're going to be doing in the live class is going to be more like providing you with the basic toolkit just to help you kickstart your career as a no-code developer, building for the web and building for mobile devices, both Android and iOS. Okay, so let me just set up my own toolkit. Great. So let me see. All right, so today I'm going to cover a couple of things, right? Yes. Okay, so let's start from here. I'm going to cover a couple of things, and let me see. Let's say Talcorn, right? Great. Okay, so I'm going to cover, let me just try to check exactly how I wrote it. Yeah, so that we can like all be in the same place, right? So I did mention some things in the description of this live video, right? So I just want to take a look at it and then say the same thing, of course. So what I said is I will introduce you to CRUD. CRUD stands for, it's an acronym for create, read, update, and delete. I will introduce you to Firebase, where you store the the different files that has to do with your application, right? I will introduce you to web publishing, right? So web publishing simply means let's say you build an Android application on FlutterFlow. FlutterFlow is built on the Flutter framework, and it's running on the Google Dart programming language. And if at all you're already familiar with Flutter, you will know that it's cross-platform, right? That means it can run on the web and it can run on mobile devices too. So I will show you how to publish your mobile application, for instance, to the web. I will show you how to download it as an APK. I will also show you how you can download the codes. I will show you how to publish to App Store. Well, we won't go into detail on that actually, right? I will show you widgets, actions, and a couple of best practices. We will try to see how we can make this just 1 hour. Let's see if that's possible. Okay. All right. So those are the things that we're going to work on, right? So Bethan, good to have you here. Welcome. All right, so let's start right away. So let me just get a project that we can simply work on. Let me go to, I'm gonna share my screen like shortly, like very soon. I just want to quickly get something from the Figma community, something free. So I will just look for mobile app. Yeah, something like that, any kind of mobile app. And I will try to, okay, I think I've gotten something. And I think it's not bad at all. Okay, so I will open the file. I'm gonna share my screen, guys. Yeah, I know you might be wondering if I think I am sharing my screen. I know I'm not sharing my screen yet, so I'm gonna share my screen right away. I just wanted to be sure of what I have here. What I have here is they're cool designs, but okay, so I think I'm just gonna share my screen so that you guys will be carried along with regards to what I'm doing here. So I will share my screen now, and we can all work together as a team. Nice. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Great. So this is where I was actually. So I'm looking for a free resource, right? Something free I could use, and then we could like use it to learn. Right, so this is Figma community. You can actually get to find like some free designs you can use to use for practice, right? And so yeah, most of the designs that I use, they come from here. Okay, so I will try to, let me open this in Figma. I just want to see whether it has like the real designs, not just pictures, right? So the other one had just pictures. Okay, okay, I think this one is pretty good. Let's see. Design. Uh, okay, yes, this is like the real design. Okay, good. So I will try to do some things and show you guys. Right. So first of all, we're gonna talk about FlutterFlow itself. So let's just go to FlutterFlow. Right. So I will first of all start from here. FlutterFlow. Great. So FlutterFlow helps you to build applications faster than ever. If I told you're here and you are a traditional developer, welcome. You're gonna find this really interesting. Well, only if I told the language that you write is Flutter and maybe the framework is Flutter and maybe Dart, Google Dart programming language. But if I told you write some other language, JavaScript, Node.js, any other thing, you will still be comfortable. It's just that those languages might not, they don't really like run on Flutterflow right now. Just the Google Dart programming language that runs, okay? But at least you will get some sort of head start more than everyone else because you already know how to build mobile applications conventionally using codes. So, but if I told you're here and you've never done anything that has to do with building applications, and this is like your very first time, welcome. It's still going to be very easy too for you. Yeah, so FlutterFlow helps you to build application faster than ever. You can build like lots of things actually, right? Like crazy cool stuffs, and you can host them on Playstore and all of that, right? You can make like lots of money trying to working for clients, right? So there's something that I have been promoting recently on the community, which has to do with the LinkedIn optimization class. The reason is because getting a skill is one thing, and the second part is actually being able to get hired. And so, for you to get hired, you need visibility, right? We will talk about that towards the end of the course. Okay, so this is FlutterFlow, and then the basic features for FlutterFlow is that first of all, you can turn your ideas into products. You can build your app for iOS, Android, and web all within FlutterFlow. And you can actually code optionally, right? So the thing is, this FlutterFlow is not really a no-code tool per se, because no code would mean you shouldn't code at all, right? So it's a low-code tool, right? So you can put some codes, and you can also decide not to work with codes. Yeah, and then there's push notifications, there is light and dark mode, there is chat and group chat features, right? And you can build collaboratively. That means you can invite some other person to join you in building. Maybe the person builds another screen while you're building another screen and all of that. You can share project links, you can work in teams, there's version control, you can even commit to Git, right? So if I told you a developer, you can commit to GitHub, right? You can do all of that thing here. And then you can export clean code, which is part of the things that I will show you today as well. Okay, so this is all of it. You can easily manage your design systems. This one is like a new thing, right? And then you can leverage integrations to build robust application. There's Firebase, Google Maps, CodeMagic, Revenue Cat for payment, Stripe for payment, Algolia. You can also use Algolia, OpenAI, Superbase. Basically, what Firebase does, Superbase does it too. Then GitHub and all of those things. Okay, so away from that, we will just go ahead. If you don't have an account, I don't think I had added the link to create an account, but you can just go to flutterflow.io and click on start for free. So, but right now we will just sign in, and signing in is going to bring us to here, right? So, this is my own account, right? So there are a couple of things that I will be able to do here that you might not be able to do here, right? So let's just quickly see what we can do. I'm gonna go here to just create a new application, and we will call the application, I don't know, let's just call it CRUD. Can we call it CRUD? Yes, why not? We can call it CRUD. Okay, so I just called it CRUD. Now we're going to start. That's how you start it, right? So here, this is where we now get to connect our application to Firebase. Now there are two ways. You can skip this now and connect it later. But if you want to go ahead to do it, you just click on next step, and then you put your Firebase project ID here, right? I would like us to do that right from this beginning stage, because we're going to start with CRUD, and I will not be paying attention to design. I would just do everything like really fast just so that you can see it. All right. So okay, so let's get a Firebase project ID and put it here. So Firebase is where you store information inside, like store the files that your FlutterFlow application will be using to run. And for you to be able to connect your FlutterFlow project to your Firebase project, you need the Firebase project ID. Make sense? Great. And so how do you get the Firebase project ID? So you have to go to firebase.com, firebase.google.com, right? And then make sure that you have a Google account. Of course, if you don't have a Google account, you can't use it. And then when all is good, you just need to come here to go to console. Like see here where I am, just click on go to console. It will take you here. And what you just need to do is click on add a new project, give your project a name. I will just call this project CRUD, right? So I give it a name called CRUD. And then I will just go ahead and click on continue. It will ask me, do you need Google Analytics for your Firebase project? I don't really want to waste the resources of the Google Analytics because I want to use it. This is a test project, right? So I would just turn it off and click on create project, and that's it. I will wait for a couple of seconds and it will finish provisioning the resources that I need for my Firebase. Okay, so in a couple of seconds, we will be done with this. And then we will get the project ID and we will put it on FlutterFlow. Okay, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay, great. So we click on continue. And now we go to, this is our Firebase project. I will be a bit fast here, guys, a little bit fast. Just pay attention. You don't need to practice anything while I'm just pay attention. You will have like a first impression, which you can watch this video again just to get more. So I will click on the icon here and then I'll click on project settings and I will copy my Firebase project here. Great. Then I will take it to FlutterFlow and I will add it. Now I'm going to have an error. Ooh, error. Good. There's an error here. FlutterFlow does not have access to this Firebase account. Please add Firebase at flutterflow.io as an editor. Now, that simply means that in this Firebase project, right, FlutterFlow has not been given access to do anything to it, to even be connected to it. So we need to go ahead and come to users and permissions. Very important. Click on add member, and we will have to say Firebase at flutterflow.io. Great. And then we'll go ahead and click on editor, change it to editor, and then we're going to say add member. Nice. So with this now, we've added Firebase to our we've added Firebase to our FlutterFlow project, right? Good stuff. And then we'll click on connect now, and it's gonna work. It's working. It's a success. Beautiful. And then what we're going to do now, the next important thing, you can skip it, is auto-generate config files. Why? First, let's click on generate files. Okay, so now the configuration files, the config files, right? They're like small, tiny bits of data that your FlutterFlow project requires to run smoothly, right? So if you don't generate these files, it will have some issues. You'll have like errors. You won't even know how you got it, right? So most times if you have some errors and then you had not done auto configuration for your Firebase, for your FlutterFlow project, you need to just come back and do it, right? So now that we've done that, the next thing we need to do is we need it to enable authentication, and we need to also enable creating user collection. User collection is more like when you want your people to be able to sign into your application, there's going to be a collection, all right, that is called users, and it's going to be found inside Firebase, right? It's also going to be found inside FlutterFlow because there's now a connection, right? So you can do everything that you want to do in Firebase in FlutterFlow, right? And they will like be mirrored, that they're the same. Okay, so what we need to do is turn these things on, and then now we have something we need to also work on here. So this says entry page. Let me just close that and show you again. So there's an entry page and a logged in page. So entry page is the very first page that your users will see before the login to your application. Then the logged in page is their the page that they get to see when they've logged in. It's that simple. So right now we don't have any page apart from these other page that we have in the background. So let's just go ahead and click on start building. We will fix that page. But first of all, you need to see that we have 2 errors because we have not set up those 2 pages. Great. Don't worry, we'll fix it. Now, the next thing we need to just quickly do is we will talk about what we have here, right? So I'm just going to talk about what we have here. So while building a mobile application, what you need to be using is this particular view. So this is for different mobile views, right? So we even have the portrait version of the mobile view, right? So this is it. Okay, so this is going to be your, that's a landscape. Yeah, that's portrait. Sorry, this is landscape. Great. And so we want to focus on this, and then these are different devices, right? So we have the iPhone 13 mini, iPhone 13, and all of that. So then we have tablets, right? So like iPad Pro, and all of that. So if you want that, you can just pick any of this. It becomes bigger. That's just the thing. Then if you're building a website, you just need to change these to these, right? That's all there is to it. So you can use this to build a website. You can use this to build a mobile application for different devices. Good stuff, right? All right. So, but what are we building today? We're building just a mobile application, right? And then we're going to be using it to experiment on CRUD. So here is where here's the point where I start talking about widgets. Every single thing that runs on FlutterFlow, like what you're going to be using to build an application on FlutterFlow, be it a website or a mobile application, uses something called widgets, right? So widgets are basically another name for components, right? So I believe maybe if some people here have used WordPress before, they have used Elementor, which is like a plugin, and in WordPress you're using, make building web pages, right? Without writing codes too, which is cool. So you might just know that, let's say in Elementor, you just drag these things and drop. Here is the same thing, right? So but here we call it widgets, and then there is the permanent widgets, right? More like the first widget that makes up your page. It's called the scaffold, right? So this is it. It's called the scaffold. If you click on it, you will see the name here. This particular page is called home page. So we have here home page. We can call it home. We can just click and rename it and call it home. All right, but you see here the name says scaffold. This is the one you cannot delete. I can right click on it and I try to delete. It says cannot delete from canvas. You can delete the scaffold. It's the number one thing. But we can delete the column. Go. We've deleted the column. We can even delete the app bar. Go. Gone. But we can delete the scaffold. I wanted us to take all of that out so that we can just build something out of it. Now, what I would like us to do quickly is, first of all, we have something here, but working on this will take a lot of time, right? So, but I just wanted to focus on create, read, update, and delete. So I will come up with a project in my mind, right? Just some way we can do this, like, so we won't really be achieving any specific traditional application, right? We would just be achieving functionality. So let's do it, guys. So this is your scaffold and this is your page. To add a new page, of course, mobile applications always have different pages. To add a new page, you just need to click on this button here that says new page, right? And then we have something called pages. We also have something called components. Components are like small, like, I don't know, like you can also call it pop-ups, right? Those are things that you see, they will just pop up on the screen. So you can call it pop-ups. We also call it bottom sheets here in FlutterFlow, right? So you get to hear a lot of names, and you get to be familiar with it with time. All right. So meanwhile, okay, so I think we will talk about that later. So here you go. We need to go ahead and look at something nice. We have our scaffold. I have showed you how to create a page. Great. I've showed you all of this. I've showed you where you can see your errors. This is where you see errors and warnings. And then FlutterFlow allows you to actually save your project in versions. So maybe you can keep building it in version 1 and it works. You can keep saving it in different versions, okay? And then okay, so let's just start now. So here is the home page, like just a screen, right? And this is an empty scaffold, like a scaffold. Now we need to add something to it. How do you add things to this screen? Now you have to click on this icon here that says add a child to this widget, right? So the scaffold itself is a widget and you can add things on top of it. All right, so this is like the grandparents, right? So the next thing we're going to be doing here is we'll add a column, right? So I'm adding a column inside it. All right, a column is used when you want to put things that can stack from top to bottom. A row is used when you want to put things that is moving from left to right. You have to remember that. Okay, so now I have a column. What I just want to quickly do is I want us to create something that can allow us to put an information inside a database, right? So when we are putting something inside a database, it's called creating. That's we are creating something. When we want to read the information, that's when we say when we want to query the information out of the database, that's when we call reading, right? So the first one is create, the second one is read. When we want to update the information that is already in the database, that's where we now use the U part of CRUD, which is update, and then the final part, delete. So we're going to do that really fast. So now, how do we put something inside a database? I will show you how to put first a text and then second an image, right? That's you learning two things at the same time. So how do we go about that? In this column right now, I'm going to click here to add a child to this widget, which is a column, and I will search for something called text field. So I just type the text field. Now this is a text field. Now every single widget that you have inside FlutterFlow has their own property section. This is like the property section. And in the property section, we have some things called padding, right? We have some feature here called padding. Padding is like the spaces that you add to your element to give it space so that things don't get too tight around it, okay? So here we can give it a padding of 20 on the left. We can give it a padding of 20 on the right. We're giving the text widget, the text field widget that. And then we can give it some padding on the top as well. I can say 100. Great. And then no problem at the bottom. Now the text widget, this is how it looks like. It has a line under here, right? Let me show you guys something. Let's just go ahead and click on this to preview what we have done. So you click on that icon, this eye icon, right? So it's a preview your application. Wait for a couple of seconds. It will just quickly show you. It is not going to be showing you things from the database. It's just going to show you the widgets view, right? So it takes a couple of seconds to show that, depending on your network, and it depends on your device. All right. Okay, so this is it. Now this is what we have just added, text field. You know, now of course it can allow me to type. Great. So that's it. All right, so let's go back to this text field. Now I don't want my text field to be like this. I want it to have like some sort of outline around it. How do you do that? I would just go ahead and scroll down, right? First of all, there's this thing that is called label text, all right? Such that, you know, when I want to type, it's just there telling me like, okay, it's supposed to give me an idea of what I should put there. So here, I just want to put, what should we put? Let's say I want to put a bio, like my bio, right? Yeah, let's call it bio. I want to put my bio in FlutterFlow, right? More like a description of myself, I think, like a short biography, right? So I can call it biography. Or should we do that? Okay. All right. So I think we can just change it a little bit. Let's say message. Okay. Let's just imagine you want to send somebody a message. So yeah, message. So this is the content of the message. Okay, great. So now we need to go ahead and come to input decoration properties. This is what we will use in having an outline. So we now have an outline around it. So guys, permit me. I just want you to be able to see this properly. So this is it. I'm zooming it really in. Good. So now we have the text field here like this. And what I need to quickly do is I've already done that actually. So I've added an outline. It has a border color. You can change these to anything. So this is it. I just changed it to this particular color. This is quite easy and cool. And then what else? This is like the border radius. You can change it. This is what makes it curved. Okay. All right. So then we have this text here. right? Messages. So now what we need to quickly do again is let's put a button here, like just a button. So I'll click on the column, click on this add a child to widget and add a button here quickly. All right. So in this button, I am just going to say send message. Okay. Send message. And I will go ahead and I want to make this button spread it maximally, taking the same dimension as this text field. So I will go ahead and then scroll down. You'll see something here that says button default style. And I can click here to say infinite. I mean, I want the width to be as large as their screen size. Now it's covering everywhere. Now for me to adjust the edges, I need to add a padding on the left and add a padding on the right, just the same value. Then I need to add some space on top, 12, just to give it some breathing space. So send message. All right, great. So I'm not paying attention to colors, so this is just it. Design in colors. So I now have this, right? So I want to put something inside a database. Fine. Before we even go ahead and continue, right? We have an error here, right? We have an error here, and it doesn't make sense for us to continue without solving this error. Okay, so let me just quickly see how we can fix this. So I will click on this. Let's go back to pages. We have our home page. Let's call this, home page. Let's go ahead and click to add another page. We will call this page, no, I'm not creating a folder. I'm creating a page. So I'm going to click on this. I will call it, this is going to be login, right? So login. So this is going to be login. This is where I'm going to help my users to log in. So I just clicked on this to change the text field. So anywhere you see text field, when you click on it, you will see where to change the name here or the content of the text field. So I just changed it here. Now this is going to be my login, right? How am I going to use this? So first of all, let's do it again. Your login screen requires, your login page requires, okay, so I'm going to do these in a very crude way, like local way. So login, let's just go ahead and do it like that. So I'm going to click on add a child to widget, and then I'm going to say text field. All right, so I'm going to add a text field here. Okay, the same thing we did the other time. I'm just going to add something here and say 15, maybe that. And then here I will go ahead and change this from underline to outline. And then I will, what else will I do here? Okay, so I have label. I'm going to change the label text from label here to, let's say email, right? So email, let's make it capital letter E, email, right? Something like that. And then I will scroll down to make it an outline. Okay, it's already an outline. So let me click here. Great. So I will duplicate this, Control D, and then I'll call this one password. So I will just scroll down to where I have the label text again, and I will say password. Nice. Now, when something is a password, you need to tell FlutterFlow that this particular text field is a password. So you scroll down, and then you will see something here that says password field. So you need to go ahead and click on password field, and that's it. And then if it's a password field, it needs to have the toggle button for password, right? So you need to maybe give it 24 here as a size, and then that's it. This toggle button for password. So that's what we just did. And then also we need to rename this text field. So here at the top of the screen, you will see the name of the text field here. So we have, we will say this is going to be password. It's just important. Password, just put it there, password. Then for this email text, let's just call it email, right? Okay, great. Then let's put a button here. So I will click on the column now and then add a button. The button, I will give it an infinite width. So I click on here and then maybe just be dramatic a bit. So I'll use this particular color for my button color. And then I'll say 20 as my padding on the left. Okay, right, yes. So 20 here too. And then maybe padding on the top of this. Then I will say change the button text to login. Now we need to adjust this one too. So these ones were 8 on the left and 8 on the right. So we just change them to okay. Great. I believe that you're learning. I know I'm fast, but I believe that you're getting it. And okay, so I go ahead and then just put it like that. Now we have the login pad, right? So we will go ahead and then use this same page for sign up. It's almost the same thing. So same field. So I will just right click on this and say duplicate page. And now it says login copy. So I will click on here, all right, to change it to sign up. Okay, so that's it. So now I have sign up. So then I'll click here to change this to sign up. All right, so sign up. So here it is. We have sign up, we have a login, and I think that's it. Maybe I might just be extra dramatic, okay, just to differentiate something. So when you're creating an account, maybe this button can just be green. Yeah. And then when you're signing in, maybe this one. Okay, I think so. All right, so then we have the home here. And let me just do something a bit cool here, because I am trying to tell you about create, read, update, and delete. So let me add another field called a row, right? Inside this row, I'm going to add a text field. So I just click on it to add it like that. And then in this text field, I'm going to just say, welcome, David. Okay, welcome, David. Yeah, something like this. And then I will go ahead and give it a padding of 20 on the left. And this is it. It's under. I need to push it down up here. So I need to just click and drag this, put it here, and that's it. Oh, sorry. Drag it here to this point and leave it there. So this is it. And then we have this. Let's change this to 12. Click on this particular row that contains the text and say 25, maybe something like this. Okay. All right, guys, so we're good, right? Now, this is where we are well positioned to start doing our create, read, update, and delete. All right, so this is our basic application. And let's go ahead and do that. So what do we do now? We have sign up here, and we have login here, and then we have home. First of all, let's solve this problem, these errors. Let's click on this. Auto page setup. So what's going to be the entry page? We click on it. The entry page is going to be maybe login. All right. And then the logged in page is going to be home. All right. Great. So now, what we need to do is in this login page, let's just add something else. Let me add a row. Inside the row, let's add a text. Okay, so that text is going to say sign up here. No account, maybe no account, then says okay, no account. Then I will duplicate this text. I selected and Control D, right? So let's click on it and then say sign up. Yeah, so here in this particular text, let's make it, the font weight is going to be like 700, and this is going to be maybe 28. Oh, no, 700 by maybe 16. Was the other one 14? Yeah, I think this is it. Then maybe just make it this color. Okay, why not? So I will just go ahead and click on the row itself, and then there's something called alignment here. So I'll just make it center align. I give it some padding and say 25. Great. And I can give it some padding on the left, 12, just to give it some space on the left. Now I will click on the entire row and copy it. I want to take it to sign up, right? So that in case we are met in this place, so it says already have an account. So we can say already have an account. Something like this. I believe you've been seeing this in mobile applications. Account, okay. Then here we'll say I'm clicking on this text, and then I'm gonna say login. Okay, nice. So we are good now. All right, let's start the whole thing. We no longer have any error anymore, and we have connected to Firebase. Now, how do we put things inside Firebase? Let's go back to Firebase. So first thing we're going to do is we'll come here to build, and we need to go ahead and turn on authentication. So I click on authentication. This is inside Firebase. Now I'll click on get started, right? These are the steps on how to get these things done. These are your toolkits. If you understand this, you're already on your way to know how to build crazy good stuffs in FlutterFlow. Okay, so now this is open. I want my users to be able to sign in using email and password. So I click on that, then I click on enable, then I click on save. Now that is done. The next thing I need to do quickly is I'll click on build again, and I click on Firestore database. These are the things that you need to turn on and use. Okay, I'll click on create database, and we have like two modes. There's production mode and there's test mode. So this is a test period. So we just go ahead and click on start in test mode, and next in enable. Wait for a couple of seconds. It will be done provisioning the cloud Firestore resources, and you'll go ahead and then turn on the storage Firestore. Okay. So we go to storage, and then here you go. We need to click on get started, start in test mode, and next, and done. That's it, guys. That's all the things that we needed to do in Firebase for now to get everything rolling. Now we have provision, like we've set up our Firebase to collect information that the user will provide. And I think we've used 41 minutes already. And I will try to see how we can make this within 1 hour. Okay, so this is almost done. Now let's go back to this. We want the user to see, let's say sign up, for instance, good? And we want them to be able to, like when they put in a value here and put something here, they click on login. No, this is gonna say sign up. Yeah, this is gonna say sign up, wait, like that. Oh, create account. I think create account is cooler. Account. All right, so here, so now how do we go about that? That's where I now introduce you to something else I had said I was going to show you, which is called actions. Actions are the things that you get to do to give your application some sort of back-end functionality, okay? So how do you go about that? Select the widget itself and click on this icon here that says actions. And this is where the action begins, guys. So we click on add action, and the next thing we need to do is look around. So it says here the type of action here is on tap. So when the user taps on it, what action do you want to happen? All right. So we want backend and database kind of action, and then now we're opening it, and we want Firebase authentication. All right. And in this Firebase authentication, we want to create account. That's it, guys. That's the idea. And who is the authentication provider for this thing? It's email, right? We already did that when we set up something here. And then what's the email field we're going to be using? Okay, so we're going to be using this email field. That was why we had to name this thing email. And then the password, we're going to name it password. If you had not turned on this text field to be password, like if you did not go ahead and check this particular place, what we did here, where is it? If you did not turn this on, it will not be able to see a password field. So it will say no password field or something. And that's it. Guys, we're done creating an account. Then let's go to login. The login part here, okay, let's do something. Okay, let's do this first. We'll click on login, the same thing. Click on here, add an action. On tap already has been selected. We will say backend database. We want to do Firebase authentication. We want to do login. Who is the authentication provider? Email. What is the email field? Email. What is the password field? Password. That's it, guys. We're done. But now, let's say we are brought to this page. We need to be able to click this button and it takes us to sign up. So that's like in-page navigation. So we will click on this, and that's another action now. So none of these is okay. The creates that we have done here so far is this, right? Well, it's really called authentication. Okay, we will create something. This is like authentication, but indirectly it's creating. So this is one level of create. Okay, and then what we're gonna do next is we're adding an action to this, sign up here. we will say navigate to, right? So on tap, when the user taps, we want it to navigate to where? Want to navigate to sign up. Great. We can add a transition type and maybe say 500 milliseconds. Good stuff. So we will come here to sign up and do the same thing. When they click on login, what should happen? We want them to be able to navigate to login. Good, right? And then transition type, maybe fade, and we say 500. Good. Now we have done this, we can easily sign into our application and it to take us to home. But now we want it to greet us with the email that we use, right? Yeah, let's just say greet us with the email. So here is the welcome, right? So we will say, click on here, this particular place that I just clicked, and we will do something called combine text. So we click on combine text and I will add the welcome here all over. Now the idea is I want to be able to do two things in one text widget. That's why I'm using combine text. And then the next thing here is going to be me putting the name of the authenticated user. So I will click on here and I will see something called authenticated user. Well, the name, when we're creating an account, we did not add the name field. So let's just say email. So it's greeting the user with their email. So we confirm and that's okay. So it says here welcome and it puts it up like this. Now what we need to do here is, let me just go ahead and then run this first so that we can just see it. So I clicked on this, dropped it down, and then I clicked on test. You can either use this or this, but this one is faster than run. All right, so we'll just wait a couple of seconds for it to show up. Okay. All right. So what we need to do quickly here is, as soon as the icon here starts to brighten up, we will leave here. Okay, good. So it's brightening up now. It's going to take roughly about a couple of seconds, usually not really up to 2 minutes. So let's just leave here for now and come back to our application. We will get to see what has been done there. Now, we have done that. We can now create an account and log in and see this place. But now let's go ahead and do something, the CRUD actions. We have done something there, but let's go ahead and then do the basic CRUDs. Now we will go to Firestore. All right, so Firestore inside FlutterFlow. And then here we want to create a document, like a collection. So I'll click here to create a collection. What is a collection? A collection is more like a library shelf, for instance, where you put a specific type of book, right? So now we have a collection for users. It put all the details of the users. We can have a collection for messages. It to put all the messages. So now we want to just call this collection messages, okay? And then we will say create. No, guys, that's not the create I was talking about. That's just clicking the create button to create a collection. Now I can go ahead and then start setting up the schema, the different fields that is found inside these message collection. What is field? A field is more like, in as much as you have a library shelf that has specific types of books, some of the books will have genres. They'll have some subcategories, right? So that's like almost the same thing with schema. So these messages have like small bits, kind of. So now we are going to add something. So the field name for the first part here, we can say email. So the email of the person who sends a message will be stored here. Okay, so we will give it a data type, a string. What is a data type? Data type is more like what kind of clothes do guys wear? Like let's all right, let's just use that. So traditionally, right, men mostly wear trousers, right, and women tend to wear skirts in most part of the world, particularly in Africa. All right, so like that's just like the culture of things. So now for email will always wear the clothes called string. That's like the idea. And then we will go ahead and then check on this. And then the next thing we need to do here is we will say message. Message is going to be the information that we type into the text field and submit. Okay, so we will say string because it will consist of characters, numbers, basically alphanumerics. Okay, so we will call it strings and then we will say check. Okay, I think that's about it, right? We can say time. We can say time, right? Time created, maybe created time. Let's call it the time that the document was created. Created at. So we're going to say created. sorry about that. We can call it created at, and then we can say this is a time. So the data type for time is going to be date time. That's a clue to that time wears, right? So and that's it. Now we need to go ahead and come back here and let me show you guys. Okay, so for these, this had finished running. Let me just show you how it works. Okay, so it's loading up. It's gonna show up very soon. Let me close this. Okay, so this is how it shows up. Very beautiful. It has this very nicely done debug thing. So the cool stuff is that with these test mode, I can actually do an instant reload and it to put the other effect for me. So let's create an account. We didn't have an account, so if I start typing something like these and these, and I click on login, it spits some error. All right, so it spits some error. And so I just click on sign up. It brings me here to this part, and then I will create an account. So let's say david@gmail.com. Okay, notes.com, and then here I will just use a random password. It has to be up to 6 characters. So this is what I used. Okay, then click on create account, and voila, we have an account created, and it tells me welcome david@gmail.com. Sweet. That's how beautiful this is. Now this is the part that we want to work on. We want a situation whereby when I put these, I will see the messages that I have sent, right? So we're not really sending to anyone. We're trying to just do something, create, update, and delete, right? That's all of it. So I will come here, and I want to put something called a row here, right? So a row, okay? Then inside this row, okay, guys, apologies. This is going to take slightly above an hour. Okay. So this is going to be sent messages, right? So sent messages, right? So then we have 20 here, and I will just give them a padding of 50. Great. So all the sent messages will show here, and then we'll be able to delete the messages that we want to delete. And great. Then we'll also be able to update the messages I want to update. I just want to show you all of that. Okay, so now we are almost there. So this is the row. I will click on the column, and now in the column, what I want to add is going to be a row. Great, a row. All right, why did I do this? Just delete this and duplicate this one. Control D. I'll click on this, remove this one, and say 12, for instance. And then I can change the font size here, maybe from these to, I don't know. I don't really know what to call it. Okay, let's make this one bigger. Let's say 700, good. And then this one. All right. And so this is gonna be the messages, right? So I am back home, something like that. And then this is the message. Let's say let's make this is the row, right? Great. Let me remove these padding on the top, and I want us to wrap this in a column because I want to put something else under that row. All right, so I'm gonna right click on it and wrap it in a column. Okay, now I've wrapped this in a column. I can click on the row and duplicate it, and it to go down. Great. So I want to put the time here. So I'll say 4:35 p.m. So this is gonna be the time that the message was sent. So maybe 300 by 12. Okay, something like this. All right, so I will go ahead and click on the column and then give the column padding. No, not necessary. Okay, so now this is it, right? The next thing I need to quickly do is I'm going to wrap this column inside a widget called list view, because that's what I will be able to use in getting information from the database to query, right? So I put that in a list view. In this first row now, I need to add, I'm going to click on this column to open it. The first row, I click on it. I'm going to add an icon in the first row. So I say icon, and then I'm adding it here, the icon here. I'm going to click on here to change the type of icon. So here is going to be, okay, let's say delete. Delete. So I will just use any of this that makes sense. Maybe this one. I don't know what this icon really means. So I have this icon, right? And then I can quickly say, okay, this is gonna be a date. All right, so I'm thinking about the best way to do this. So I'm gonna wrap this particular icon because okay, guys, see what this is what I want to do. If I click on this row, I want to separate the two widgets that are in that one row with something called alignment, right? So if I click on this, it's gonna spread them across, and then I can go ahead and give some padding to this. But I want to add something else here, like edit icon, right? So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. But if I do it like this, it's pressing it like this. So I don't want it like that. So I'm going to right click on this and wrap this particular one in a row. Okay. Then inside that row, I'm going to duplicate these, right? That's what I just did. Then I'll click on this and change this to edit, maybe an icon for edit. And I think I can use something like this. Well, why not? So I can change this to 20 and this one can be 24. I just want them to be the same height, kind of. So now I can give a padding of 20 on the left, on the right here. And so now like that, then I can give them some spacing too and say 12. All right, so one is going to be for a delete. So this delete icon should have some scary red color. So I'm giving it a red color here, right? So edit, maybe green, right? So something like that. All right, so now I have edit and like that. So this is it, guys. Really cool, right? So we're almost gonna wrap this up very soon. So now what I want to do is when I click on this, okay, now I'm gonna make this thing a bit complicated. I didn't want to make it complicated at all, but I want to update. I want to be able to update the message that I sent here, right? So we're going to have to do something. So I'm going to go ahead and then click on this, right click on this home and duplicate it. All right. I don't mean to make this complicated at all. I wanted to make it like really beginner. So I'll click on home, this, I just duplicated it. And let's call these, all right. So let's leave this here and delete this. Okay. Let's delete this here and delete this as well. Okay, so I'm just deleting some things here. So now I'm going to push this downwards. Let me close this row and close this list view. I just tap on it twice. I want to push this. Okay, let's push this text field up, down first. I push it down. That didn't work out. Okay, then I want to push this button down. Okay, great. I'm going to delete this text field. All right, so update. Okay, so I'm going to change this button from send message to update message. So something like this, update message. Okay, then I'll click on the home here, kind of, and I'll click on this icon on the side and say this, right? So I just wanted to be able to go back. Yeah, so message, view message, maybe something like that, view message. Okay, so I will close this. Now we have this. So I will tell you what I'm trying to achieve here. So let's go back to home. Home is where we send the message, right? We send the message, it will appear here, all the message that we want to send. And what is going to happen? So I'm going to click on here now. This is a text field. So let me change the name of this text field from text field to message. Okay, I hope you're following. I might be speedy a bit, but you can watch this video a little bit later. Okay, so I will click on this button. Now I want to be able to create a document inside the collection called messages. We have a collection already here. This is going to be the field for the collection. Don't worry, we will reverse engineer this when we have done it so that you can understand these terms that I'm using. So I'm going to say, I'm going to click on this and say action. I want to add an action to this send message. When the user clicks on it, what should happen? First of all, they're going to type something inside here, right? And when they're done typing, I want them to be able to I'm going to do something called Firestore, create document. So if you see here now, we have the create, update, delete, right? So I'm going to say create document. What kind of collection do I want to put things inside? I want to put it in messages. Now I have to set the field. So I'm going to click on here to set the fields. And I'm going to say the field is going to be The first one here is the email. So I want to put the email of the user. So I'll go ahead and say from variable, and then I'll click here and say authenticated user email. Now, why am I even doing this? Because maybe later on we might just want to show only messages that belongs to a particular user, which we will check out. Okay, we've spent 1 hour. Guys, just give me a couple of minutes and then we will finish up and then we will be done. Okay, so then the next thing we need to do is let's add another field, and this is going to be the message. So I'm going to change this from specific value to from variable, because we want to be able to put the message, the value, the content of the message from a variable. And what variable is that? It's a variable in the widget state. All the things that we do here are widgets. So I'll click on it and you see the message widget. So I put it here. And then the next one is add created ad. So I just clicked on it, and then this is going to be basically global property current time. That's it. Okay, now we're good. Now, like that, when it's created, we will see the details here. Now, how do we go ahead and then show the details in this place? Let me give some padding to this list view and say 12. And then now let's go ahead and do the part that has to do with read. Now we have done create, which is what we just did here. Now we need to do read. How do you read? Read is querying your database. So I will click on add a, I've selected the list view. Now I want to query the backend. So I click on add a backend query. And I will say I want to do a query collection. I want to query messages. I want it to produce a list of documents. Okay. And I want those documents to be filtered by the email. Email will have to be equal to the authenticated user's email. That's it. That's what all of this just means. That simply means that then I click on confirm and confirm. That simply means that if you send a message here and then someone else creates a new account, the person won't see the messages that you sent. That's how it's done. So now I need to go ahead and then open this and click on this column, give it some padding on the bottom, 12, just to spread things out a bit. Okay, now we have this. Now we have queried it, but it doesn't mean that these texts are going to change. We need to tell it that, okay, the content of these should come from the backend. So we click on it, and then we come to the text field. This is where you typed it in the first time, right? But now there's a button here, orange button, that tells you can actually get these things from the backend. So now that we've queried it, we can now see this message document. So we can click on it and say this is going to be the message, all right? And I will go ahead and give it this expansion type, this one, because I want it to be able to spread downwards. I'll give it a padding on the left and I'll say 20. Right, good. That means if the message is longer than this place, it will spread downwards. That's what I just did here. Then for this one is a time. So I will go ahead and say, click on this as well, message document, and say created at. They have like some available options here. So I'll change it and say it's a date time format. I want it to be written like, maybe this. Okay, great. Then confirm. So that's how it is. Now I have done that. Now let's do one more thing. Okay, two more things before we end up the whole thing. Now, when the user clicks on this, right, this is going to be a bit sensitive, right? I want you guys to pay attention. When the user clicks on this, right, let me see. Let me see. If I do an instant reload on this, let me see what happens. It reloads the session. It's going to give me the most recent update of what I have built, right? So that we can just test it quickly. I'm waiting for it to give me the result of that. While that is coming up, when the user clicks on icon here, this icon for edit, I want it to navigate to another page. The page will be created, which is this one. Let me click on it and rename it. Let me call it view message. View message, something like that. Okay. So so when they click on that, so how do we do that? So when they click on this icon, I'm going to give it an action. All right, guys, add an action. I will say navigate to view message. Good. Then transition type is fade, and it's maybe 500. And then now I want to be able to move the information that have been found in this page to the next page. Okay. Just one specific information. Okay. So that's where I now define it. So I'm going to click on define. It brings me to this place that I pointed it to. I need to click on add parameter. I will now say message ref. This might take you a little bit some time to actually understand. So you have to watch this video again. So message ref, and the type of what is it called? The type here is going to be a document from reference. I'll turn off these, and the collection type is messages. Then I'll click on confirm. Now I have pointed it to that place. Now I need to collect the information that I sent there. Like I'm saying it, when you go to that street, you can buy that thing. But now I have not really like given it like a map to go to the street. So I'm now going to go ahead and click on this define, and then I'll click on this, click on insert, and pick this message document and say message ref. And then I click on confirm. That's it. Now I have actually given it the map, right? It knows the exact document to push to the other screen. And then now what we need to do again is we need to go to that view message screen and catch the thing that we have brought in there. So we can go ahead and click on the scaffold itself, right? And click on query, and then add a backend query. Click on the type of query. Now we want to do document from reference. So I'm going to click on document from reference. I'm going to say messages. I'm going to pick this particular available option, this one that says message ref, which is what we created in the other place. And then I will go ahead and click on confirm, and we're good. Now this is I need to delete this, and then this, and then maybe just give these some padding. Let's say it's 50, I think. Now this message, the other message has been moved down here, so we need to just go ahead and then click on here and say message document and say message. Great. And then the time, the same thing we did in the other side. We'll click on message document, say created at, no further changes, date, time, and that's it. And then we pick this particular time, confirm, and we're good. And then this is a text field, so we can just say message. Okay. And then in this place now, we want to update this information. I'm a little bit fast here because I really don't want to overshoot the time. So I'm going to click on this button here and add another action and say add action. Go to backend, Firestore. I would say update document. It's going to ask me, what kind of document do you want me to update? Come on, David, be specific. I'm going to be like, okay, so I'm going to click on this and tell it it's going to be the document that has to be do with this message ref. All right, that was sent to this screen. And that's it. Now it's going to tell me, okay, where do I get the information from to update that particular message? Right. So I now tell it, okay, I add a field, and I will now say, I just wanted to update the message, right? I want to get the information from the widget called messages. That's all. That's all, guys. And then when it is done, I can now tell it, okay, go back to the home page after you've done that. So I can click on open here and add another action, okay, that says after that first one, navigate back to home. That's it. And then we're done. Then the last thing we're going to do here is we will say, okay, this is working, right? So we have a couple of 8 minutes here, all right? So now let's just test what we've done. So if I say, hello guys, I hope you are enjoying this class. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Yeah, by the way, guys, I'm saying it right now. Please just click on the subscribe button and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much. And like the video as well. I believe the content is good, so please just go ahead and help me like the video. Thank you. So I'll click on send a message, and now we have the message here. All right. So I have this is the message, and now I've not updated these to have this particular effect. So let me just quickly update it. I'll reload the screen, and it's just going to start reloading. Great. Then let's do the last part. So we have done create, read is the querying part, update is what we have just done, and then delete. Delete is the last part. So we can just go ahead and add delete action to this, add an action, go to backend, and then say Firestore, then say delete document, and then I will click on this and say, what document am I deleting? The document that has to do with this reference. That's all. That's just all. And so when I click on this, it's going to delete it. That's it, guys. So we're done with create, read, update, and delete. All right. So okay, so now this is it. If I click on this, it's going to take me to this page. Okay, so it has some problem here with overflow. Yeah, I'm going to fix that right now. So if we go to view message, right, and then we can click on the message here, give this expansion a type, all right, and then give it a, like, use this middle expansion, meaning when it's too long, it should flow down. Then I'm going to give it a padding on the left and say 20. Good. So now we're good. We can actually just reload it. All right, so we have to end this session in the next 6 minutes. Yeah, because that's when these, okay, 5 minutes actually. That's when these current version of our test run is going to end. And to do that again, it's going to take some time. So this is it. So I can click on this now and it takes me here. Now we didn't have any problem. So I need to update this message. Okay, let's say I made a mistake. I was like, hello guys, I hope you're enjoying this class. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So now I want to just update the information. I want to say, hello guys, thank you so much for being here. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. Then I click on update message and it's updated. It has updated that specific message in the database with this new thing. Observe. Then I can actually go ahead and add another message and say, have you subscribed to this YouTube channel yet? Yet? Something like that. So this is a question to you actually. Have you subscribed to the YouTube channel yet? And then add it. So now it's the next thing here. It shows you. Have you subscribed to this YouTube channel yet? How much have you learned today? I can say, okay, then I can add as many as possible. I can say, today is amazing. And I can say, this class was awesome. And I can say, let's keep doing this. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna stop there. All right, so now let's test the delete button. All right, so I can just say, what do I delete here? Yeah, today is amazing. We can always, okay, so I can click on these to delete. You see, anything that I click is gone. It just goes off, right? So if you want to have some sort of alerts before it finally works, you can always do that. But we don't have much time again, all right? So I believe you've learned a lot. We can click on this to view the message, right? This is a different have view. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Guys, have you done that? Please try to do that. Then let's keep doing this. Let's keep doing this. Of course, let's just keep doing this. And then let's just wrap up the whole training now by me showing you how to publish this to the web. So if you click on the settings here, you can click on web publishing, and then it requires you to open the platform settings and then turning this thing on, right? And then go back to web publishing and then hit this button. So you can just hit the button, wait for a couple of seconds. It will provide you with the web published link, which is going to be a combination of these and this, right? That's just what it's going to be. Actually, you can just do that and paste it somewhere, but it has to finish running first before. If you check now, you won't see anything. Yeah, it's still publishing. It says "May the force be with you," because nothing is here yet, right? So it's still running, right? So when it's done, we will just reload the page, and we will see it. Meanwhile, may the force be with you. And then for the mobile deployment, this is where you deploy your application. I wasn't going to be very detailed on this. This is where you do some settings and then deploy your application to App Store and deploy it to Playstore. All right. And then what else did I say I was going to show you guys? So the next thing here is to show you this part. And this is where you click to view code. You click on here to view the code. You might not have this particular feature because maybe you're not subscribed to FlutterFlow yet. So you need to have a plan with FlutterFlow for you to be able to connect to GitHub repository or download the code or even download the APK. So right now I will just go ahead and click to view the code. And this is the code that makes this application run. You see, this is the code. So I will just click on each of the screens so you can just see it. The codes are changing. These are the Flutter Google Dart codes that makes all of this to work. All right, so we're we're almost, this session is ending in this part, and then I think this is where we get to close. And then for you to download the code, you can click here to download the code. It's quite simple. I can just click here, and it's currently preparing to download, right? So then if I want the APK version, all right, so it's currently downloading the assets. It has finished downloading. I can click here and to see this is the codes for my product, all right, the CRUD product. Everything is inside here. Now I can actually click on there and double tap to open it and go to CRUD, and then you see it. If I told you write Flutter, you know that this is exactly the features that you get. You have the Android, the assets, iOS, everything here. Okay, so let's come back here, and then I can also click to download my APK. It takes 2 to 4 minutes to get my APK running. So after this, it will just download it and I will have it, right? So of course, you won't be able to run the APK on what is it called, on the web, right? You have to install it on your mobile phone. Yes. So this is it. I think what I would just do is maybe in the description I will upload this APK somewhere, so then put the link for you guys to just maybe try to test it out if at all you're using an Android device. Okay, so that's where we will stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Great. So wonderful, right? I believe that it's wonderful. It's good to still have you guys here, and really, really nice. We have a lot of people. Really cool. All right. I hope you guys learned a lot because I didn't even really plan to do it that way, but somehow we're able to do something really nice, right? So, so someone is saying, honestly, this is great. I have known FlutterFlow for some time, but your teaching is explicit and easy to follow. Thank you very much. I like to make this thing really easy. Okay. So someone is saying, great video error. My network keeps blurring the video. Hopefully you drop the recorded version when you're done. The recorded version, yes, it's gonna be available live, but the thing is, the quality of the video dependent on your network, right? So on, and also if at all you change the settings of the video to HD or like a higher higher version, like 720 pixel, right? Something like that. Okay, so then what else? Yes, James, it's saved. You can rewatch it again. Rajiv, thank you very much. Someone is saying, how can we create lab result and show into PDF? So, well, you can like create a form, right, where the lab attendants, medical laboratory scientists can key in the details of the results and then submit it, right? And then, okay, how to change that to PDF? I haven't really worked on something like that, but I think it's very possible. Okay, so Wolfie, yes, 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 it's gonna be available afterwards. Ife Olua, thank you very much. Okay, all right, it's really good to have you guys here. So Vast Agency said, okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right, I hope you guys learned a lot. I know that we have overshot the time budget by 18 minutes and a couple of seconds, but I think it was very worth it. All right, so this is the toolkits that you needed to start your career as a mobile and web application developer. At least, okay, in this situation, mobile developer, right? So great, good to know that you guys got some value from this. Please remember to just click on the like button to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and see you in the community. All right, we'll have other sessions again. I will announce when we'll have live sessions again, but meanwhile there are other videos for you to consume on the channel. All right, take care guys, have a fun time. I forgot to ask if there are questions. I could take more questions in the next few seconds, right? I I would like to just wait until it's like 1 hour 20 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't think there are questions. All right. Have a great time, guys. Goodbye for now.